It's the 18th of July. We've driven up overnight to Oban and then caught the ferry across to Coll for a week of looking for basking sharks. The meet and greet was at the Col Hotel, which served the nicest bacon, lettuce and tomato sandwich I've ever had. Then we had a look around the village. The village is only about 100 houses tops, so it didn't take us very long, and this is the only shop. Robbery in progress. Well, you can hear the patter of rain. We've just arrived at our house. I must say it's gorgeous inside. Tony's sitting down relaxing while the girls do all the work. A close-up of the famous mackerel on the way to Struan Beach. Had some time to kill on the first day, so we thought we'd wander over to the west coast, have a look at the beaches. As you can see, it's glorious if a bit windy. Alison was quick to get her feet in the water. Oh well, this is the start of our adventure. We're off to do an introduction to snorkeling in a bay full of seals. That's it, just slide yourself off, that's it. You can hold on to the rope if you need to.
Everyone feeling okay with their suits and everything? My shoes are definitely too small.
Well, the seals in Coll aren't as friendly as the seals in the Farne Isles and kept their distance. So I amused myself by filming Andre chasing these sand eels. The other thing this dive allowed us to do was establish that our wetsuits would protect us from jellyfish stings. On the way back, Rachel kept a lookout for humpback whales because they'd been reported in this area a few days ago. Although we had a very nice sighting of a shark, it was a bit too rough, and Shane decided that we'd curtail the day and go off to Lunga. We were rowed across to the island, maintaining social distancing, and then we had to scurry up the boulders on the slippery beach. This is Rachel giving us a resume of what we can do, but we decided we'd just sit there and watch the puffins and eat our lunch. I'm told that the puffins are pleased to see us because we frighten away the black-backed gulls that eat them. They certainly didn't seem at all perturbed. But they did have a habit of disappearing into their burrows or hiding behind stalks of grass when you were trying to film them. After watching the puffins for half an hour, we wandered along the cliff-top path to a large bird colony. That's a razorbill just disappearing into a hole. Apparently one of these birds might be called Shane. I don't know whether the other one's called Sean. We'll have to ask Tony. Although we self-catered for most of the week, we did have a couple of meals at the Col Hotel, and very nice it was too. This is Jenny and Phil, who are also on our boat.
Can I have the steak, please? And the you could move that
Oh
way.
yeah, no, it's the tilting. Wait, I have this picture.
We won't lose you, will we? Are you videoing?
Videoing.
Videoing us eating?
Eating, yeah. Today we're heading off to Gunner Sound, which is where the basking sharks tend to congregate. But before we can snorkel with one, we need to find one. This is Tony's footage of our first nice encounter. The shark turned straight towards him. And you can see he was quite chuffed, because the sharks were tending to stay deep. Shane decided to show us some dolphins.
Ooh, these are Rico's dolphins, yeah, big stickle shaped dorsal fin. Quite different to all the rest. Feed quite differently as well. Normally feed at night, cephalopods. You notice that you can see when they come out of the head, it's very different to other dolphin species. They're almost like kind of pilot whales. Yes. You can imagine it like that. Hey. They're not super playful, they wouldn't come and bow ride, but they're certainly acrobatic as well.
Hey, cute, aren't they? I'm allowed to say that.
But yeah, we've not actually, a few years ago, like 10 years ago, never really think of having them around here, but this last year for years, they've been quite, had quite a few sights of them. So, sure, I mean they feed on different things, but I'm not sure if maybe their prey's changed a little bit. It's mainly because they were Hebrides that they would hang about that. But yeah. So just at the moment it's just socialising and resting and things like that, and they are not currently active in terms of feeding.
It's mid-July in the Scottish Islands, and as you can see, it's rather dreich. Alison and Moira have opted to do the spotting today. It was very bad weather this morning, so we didn't go out. We had a lecture on basking sharks, and now hopefully we'll see some. Although they're not feeding and you don't get that typical view of a basking shark, they did swim right by us. There isn't much glamour about taking off a wetsuit on a boat. One of the disadvantages of living on an island is if you become ill, you need to be airlifted to the nearest hospital. This is a local resident heading off towards Oban. Apparently there are 2 families of otters that live in the harbour. On a couple of evenings we walked down to see if we could see them.
Oh, there. The thing that's up now, that's a seal that's up now.
No, there's 2 things there,
Is there?
quite close together.
No, I think there's one.
No, that's just one seal.
Oh, that is a seal, yeah.
That's a seal. I still kind of think they're otters, but
They're seals, aren't
Oh, she's got the more powerful ones.
Well, we came down to look for otters. I think we've just seen a seal. It's Thursday and we're going to spend the entire day diving with sharks at Gunner Sound. Our crew consists of Rachel, Jenny, Eagle-Eyed Phil, Andreas, myself and Moira. Today the sharks seem to be feeding more often, which hopefully will make them easier to see. This one looks quite big next to the snorkelers, and also seems to be in good condition without any marks. And you can just see Moira coming into view. This is the first time I actually saw one feeding. After the shark disappeared, we were bumbling around, photographing the lion's mane jellyfish, when the people on the boat saw a minke whale. I caught some very poor footage of it, but fortunately Tony, who's just come into view, got some great footage. And now back to harbour to prepare for our evening dive. We're rushing back to port because tonight we're going to be doing a night or / evening dive beneath that pier, which is the ferry pier. Andreas went off to take his still photographs. Typical pier, lots of dead man's fingers, plumos, anemones, various other anemones, and small crabs and invertebrates. This is me chasing a little crab. Nice view of Jenny, followed by a view of Andre. Just trying to wake the sea urchin up. And here are some prawns / shrimps, and behind them you can see a spiny squat lobster. This is a pretty uninterested scorpion fish, and this is Tony letting out air at the end of his dive to do a buoyancy check. This was the hardest bit of the dive, trying to get back onto the boat while maintaining social distancing. It's Friday, the last day of our holiday. Shane showed us his engine, and then we headed off to Finkel's Cave. Here are the girls kitting up on the boat on the way across. And at this point I think I should admit that on today's video most of the footage was shot by Tony Close, and I've just added a little bit of my own. Maura and I came here a few years ago. We looked down on the water and thought it'd be lovely to swim in there, and now we are. Tony was a bit braver than me and went right to the back of the cave. This footage has been specially selected for Hannah Close, as Tony was saying she loves jellyfish. Next to Fingal's Cave is a much smaller cave. Again, Tony went right to the back while I hung around in the middle.
There was a bit there that was very Disney-like, wasn't there?
After visiting Fingal's Cave, we returned to Gunner Sound and found some basking sharks. This time they were feeding, which meant we could get those mouth open shots that are so important. While you're admiring the shark footage, I'll just pop a few little bits of information in. The shop on Coll is very nice, but it does tend to run out of essentials like bread before the end of the week. The Col Hotel does really good food, and on the final day we had breakfast there while waiting for the ferry, which was also excellent. Top tip for basking sharks is, instead of chasing after them, if you just lie in the water, they'll often return to where you are, because that's where the food is. I believe these sharks are relatively small at 4.5 meters. They seem to be slightly friendlier than the bigger sharks. Whenever we went in the water, we were surrounded by jellyfish like this lion's mane. But in truth, I don't think anybody suffered a serious sting during the entire week. They also do a bit of research on the boat. This is Shane trying to position the boat so they can get a DNA sample from this shark, which was subsequently christened Allison. The beaches on the west coast are absolutely gorgeous, particularly Struan, but you need a car to get there. This is probably the best bit of footage we've got. It was shot by Tony, and it's exactly what you want in a basking shark shot. And we wrapped up our day by taking Tony's monster truck to Struan Beach on the northwest coast.